Stop trying to change. You might think that that's crazy coming from the mouth of a therapist, but I'm going to tell you why thinking that you need to change and become something or someone else is stupid, it's pointless, and it's making you feel worse. If this is the first time that we are connecting, my name is Kristina, and I'm a registered therapist, researcher, and online course creator. And I have a master's degree in counseling psychology, and I work to help men and women get through the crap that is holding them back so they can like themselves and their lives more every day. And this message is rampant in our culture. You hear it and see it everywhere. Who do you want to become? Transform yourself. Who do you want to be? That all this stuff is coming at us all the time. And we think that it's good. It sounds really positive that I can change and become somebody else. And then I'll be happy, and then I'll be good, and then I'll be comfortable and confident with myself. But actually, the more we buy into this one, the worse it makes us feel, because what it's saying, the underlying message in all of those statements is who you are now is not good enough. Who you are now is not worthy. Who you are now is not valuable. And that's just not true. Now, does that mean that we don't have things that we need to work on, that we don't all have stuff in our lives that we need to do differently, or that there's things that we need to change, and there's different habits that we need to get rid of, and maybe some good ones that we need to take on, that we have stuff to sort through, that we have things and areas that we need to grow within ourselves? That absolutely, yes. But who you are now is still good enough. And honestly, often who we are under the crap in our lives is pretty amazing. I'm going to actually go ahead and say that always, that who you are underneath all of these maladaptive behaviors, underneath all this crap, that's not who you are. That's stuff that you've picked up, behaviors that you've learned, stuff that you've done maybe to protect yourself, to survive, to get through life, things that you've just sort of taken on. But that's not really who you are. Who you are underneath all of that stuff is amazing and incredible. Yes, we all have our strengths. We all have our struggles. But I want to ask you to not try to become someone else, to not think that you need to be someone or something else. I want to ask you to work on becoming more of who you are, of exactly who you are, underneath all of this other stuff, underneath all of this other crap. I want you to work on being more of you and not trying to be something or someone else. And I have a few questions for you that I want you to just think about a little bit. Something to take away from this, that to really just kind of ponder on, and to really just sort of absorb, and to really think about, to really just sit in after this video. To drive this point home and to make this a little bit more clear, that how would you show up? How would you go through life on a daily basis if you had nothing to protect, nothing to defend, nothing to prove, no one to fear, and nothing to hide? If you just showed up fully as you, how would you be acting different? What would be different if you were to just work on being more you and not worrying about becoming something else, or protecting or hiding or worrying or fearing? How would you be showing up differently in life? I'm not saying that it's always easy, and often showing who we really are and being vulnerable with our imperfections, with our flaws, being honest and open and real and authentic can bring up some anxiety. And that's a real thing for a lot of people, for a lot of us, for most of us, that fear of what will people think if they see who I really am. And I have to be honest with you that as a therapist, I work with men and women. I've worked with hundreds of men and women. And every single one of them, when I get to see who they really are underneath all of the crap, all the armor, all of the masks, all of the stuff that we put on to go through our lives and think that we need, when I get to see who people really are underneath all that stuff, and I do get to see that every day, people are incredible. People are beautiful. People are amazing. All of them. underneath all of that stuff. So being brave and bold and working more on being more of who you are, and not worrying about becoming something or someone else, not thinking that you need to change who you are in order to be good enough. Now, as I was saying, this can sometimes bring up some anxiety, and I have a tip sheet on 7 simple ways to manage our anxiety. They're just some simple ones. Some of them are fun, some of them are kind of light, but just to kind of deal with some of those anxiety symptoms that might be coming up for you if you are starting to work on being more yourself, and the fear and sometimes the apprehension that can come with that. So grab that tip sheet. I'll put it in the comment section below, the link to that. And also, if you think that this would be helpful for people, if you think that this would make a difference in someone's life, then I want to ask you to share it out. And also, if you're new, subscribe so that we can stay connected. Like the video and leave your comments in the comments section below. Let me know how this landed with you. Let me know how this is sitting with you. This can be a tough one for a lot of us. For a lot of us who really don't like ourselves, it can be really hard to hear that we need to be more of who we are. But I'm going to go ahead and say that it's not you that you don't like. It's some of this stuff and some of these things that we do and some of these ways of acting and some of these things that we've picked up in our lives that we don't like. But if we can get through and dig through that crap, that who we are underneath that, who you are underneath all of that is amazing, is worthy, is incredible, is enough. I'm so glad that you are here. Until next time, take good care.